Hey everybody, welcome to DAPS Magic Live. I am Mr. DAPS, and we are going to try something new tonight. We are going to try a live stream that hopefully works with everybody, and I will bring in Katie and Cameron now. And
Hi.
yes,
Hello. We're meeting now for the first time.
we are, and hopefully you can hear us now, and hopefully we've fixed everything.
Well, apparently everyone heard me say it's painful how smart I am. So
I assume they expected that at this point.
Well,
that's just how I talk.
Anyway, we thought tonight for DAPS Magic Live we would talk about Star Wars. Welcome to my office, by the way. And actually, first off, where is everybody at?
This is my room. This is a thing that has a Hamilton quote, and then that's also Chef Mickey at Epcot in front of Spaceship Earth. And also that's Figment. I have a lot of other stuff in here, but I don't feel like moving my laptop.
Good call, Cameron.
And I'm currently sitting in my, dinette. This is my kitchen and living room area. You can see the corner of several hundred pops on the wall over there.
Very good. All right, so tonight, based on popular demand, we are going to be talking about Star Wars. And I thought it would be only appropriate to ask the question first. When did you first see a Star Wars, or what is your earliest Star Wars memory of seeing the films? And I'm going to let Katie go first, then Cameron, then I'll go.
I think the first time I watched Star Wars was like 2015. It was 2015. It was September 2015 because The Force Awakens came out in December. I was on, I started hanging out around the Geeks Corner set, and
Yes,
you, Mr. Daps, had found out that I had never seen Star Wars.
That is true.
And you announced that was simply unacceptable, and you threw a movie night where we all gathered and watched A New Hope. And I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen.
That is also true. Cameron.
My earliest memory of the Star Wars is going over to my neighbor's house, which was a mile and a half away, and they had a copy of the gold box VHS original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what it was, but it looked real sweet. So we watched all of them. And that Halloween, I went as Luke Skywalker from Empire Strikes Back in his orange jumpsuit.
Nice. And
well,
go ahead.
I not to interrupt you, but I did something similar where I saw Star Wars for the first time, and then I was Han Solo for Halloween, like a month and a half later.
I was 5. How old were you?
How old was I in 2015?
5 as well.
About 5. It's fine. And then I was probably 5 as well, and we watched all 3 of the original movies with my parents, and I grew up with Star Wars, so it's always been a part of our lives. I think the part where it's connected with all 3 of us was through Geeks Corner. Is that true?
Yes.
I assume that's how we know it. Yes.
Yes.
I assume that's how I know you.
Yes.
Who are you people?
We don't know. Like, any day is a total
What
guess.
year is it?
Right? So we all have watched all of the movies now, and I think it's a good place to start is, what is your favorite Star Wars movie? And we'll start with Katie, go to Cameron, and then I'll end.
But people don't like my answer when I say it.
You're allowed to have whatever answer you want.
My favorite Star Wars movie is The Force Awakens because it is the first Star Wars film that I saw in theaters, and it made me cry multiple times. I also went dressed as Han Solo, so you can only imagine how painful that was for me. But it
gut-wrenching,
to say the least. Gut-savoring, one could say. But it was my introduction to how awesome Star Wars fans could be, and it just, every time I watch it, I get the warm fuzzies.
Good answer. Cameron, go ahead.
My favorite is Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
Is there a reason why, or?
I just wanted to let that hang for a minute to make sure everybody heard me. It's the best because of a few different things, but It is the most Star Wars film, which is to say that it follows the hero's journey to a T. It does some very interesting things playing with the formula of Star Wars in general. It's divisive, which I think is inherently Star Wars as well. But most importantly, it tells a concise and complete story that I found very entertaining and pushed the boundaries of what we understood in the universe. Plus, I'm a natural born contrarian, and I can't help but argue with people and therefore pick.
That's completely reasonable. For me, I would pick Star Wars. Actually, Return of the Jedi, I think, is mine at the moment, and mainly I'm gonna go with because of the soundtrack. There's a part where they're playing the Emperor's theme, and there's this really low, awesome men's chorus that's singing, and I think it's one of the best Star Wars musical moments in the entire Skywalker saga. And to me, it's always about the music, and that's kind of where I start my critiques of Star Wars and end them as well. So I'm going to go with that one. And if you don't like it, that's okay. But that's where I started. And Star Wars has always been one of those things that has never been perfect, but has always been perfect. Just because no matter how imperfect it is, you always just love it because of it's perfect because of its imperfections. And so the thing that's great about Star Wars is I know people that love the prequels the most, or love I guess we call them the sequels the most if you're Katie. And then there's also the original trilogy, which is kind of where I would fall into. So for a trilogy, Katie, what would you consider your favorite trilogy?
Oh, that's hard. I kind of want to say the sequel trilogy for the same reasons I listed for Force Awakens.
I think it's fair.
I got to watch the story unfold, and I got to participate in all the speculation, and I got to deal with all the, is this real, is this not real, what could this possibly be?
Mm-hmm.
And getting to be a part of that is something very unique, and something I found very fun. So I feel like I want to say the sequel trilogy.
So you're saying you're a contrarian like Cameron?
When am I not a contrarian?
Okay.
I'd like to argue with you about the contrarian, if it'll pop.
I don't think you're a contrarian, Cameron. I'll start there.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
Well, my favorite place to get water is from a well.
Your mic cut off your last part, but I knew what you were saying, and that was very good.
Wonderful.
So, Cameron, what's your favorite trilogy?
Despite 8 being my favorite film, the original trilogy is my favorite of the trilogies.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. And why would you choose that?
It is the most complete of the trilogies. On hindsight of 9, well, I did really like 9, and I feel like it was the best possible outcome for summarizing everything. It failed to complete the trilogy in the same way that the original is complete, though it did complete the overarching story very well. But as far as concise trilogy,
I would back you up with this. I think the original trilogy, 4, 5, and 6, really is a complete story in itself, whereas 7, 8, 9, or 1, 2, and 3 are all complements to that story. Mm-hmm. And like, you can have 4, 5, and 6 by itself, and that's totally fine. However, 7, 8, 9, and 1, 2, and 3 are always built off of that original foundation of 4, 5, and 6. And I think they don't stand quite as well on their own as the original trilogy does. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, but now we have to make Kitty agree with it because she chose wrong.
Yeah, that's true. My opinion is wrong, and I should feel bad.
Oh, okay, that's what it is. So the next question I'm going to ask is favorite Star Wars hero and favorite Star Wars villain. Ooh. And Katie, you get to go first.
Me?
Yeah.
I cut you off because I was talking, which is very Katie, like us. Favorite hero for sure is Princess Leia. Okay. Easy. Period. Villain might be Palpatine.
Oh, okay.
He's so creepy. Like, and this might just be because also we convinced someone at work that Senator Sheev is a real U.S. senator.
Okay.
Which kind of adds to that. But also he has lightning hands, which is dope. But he's super duper creepy. I mean, Vader obviously is super cool, but I mean, lightning hands.
Old Sheev Lightning Hand Palpatine.
I have never heard the term lightning hands before, and I think it's kind of awesome, but yes.
Also, I think you said Sheev more times in this stream than they actually said in the films.
I'm fairly certain, actually.
All right, Cameron, favorite villain. Oh, wait, who's your favorite hero? Katie?
She said Leia.
I told you.
Oh, Leia, I'm sorry. So Cameron, now you.
My favorite hero is General Leia as well. There's no... She is the best hero in the films. Luke is completely inadequate and completely a Mary Sue, even though he's a wonderful character to watch. Yeah, no. Leia is the one that actually does stuff in the films. And villain is General Grievous, because I don't think he gets enough credit.
Really?
He was the perfect foreshadowing villain, and hints. He references what the arc of Anakin Skywalker is going to be without really encountering him in the films. And I know it's expanded a lot more in the more expanded series, but yeah, it's great villain and an interesting divergence from what we would expect as far as villain.
Interesting. Okay, that's good. Sorry about the lag for video. I'm not sure what's causing that. It could be the Wi-Fi or something. We're still figuring out how to do this. This is different. Usually we're all in the same place. My favorite villain is probably Darth Vader, just because he's ridiculously scary and awesome. And my favorite hero, I'm going to go with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Ooh, old Ben Kenobi.
Old Ben. Think it's any relation to Ben Kenobi?
No, there's no way.
Not a chance. I like his wisdom, I like his courage, and I like his sacrifice, which are my 3 reasons for liking him as my favorite.
I thought it was going to be sass rather than sacrifice there at the end.
Depends on the movie, you know.
Well, hello there.
So the thing that's new about Star Wars is just today the news came out that Ahsoka Tano will be played in the live-action version of her in The Mandalorian. As is it Rosario Dawson? Is that how you say her name?
Correct. So Ahsoka Tano can.
So she will be the new Ahsoka Tano, and I'm curious what you guys think of this casting choice. First off,
can I say I'm sad?
Go ahead. Yeah,
why are you
I think
sad?
That's reasonable.
I think that Rosario Dawson is a wonderful actress, and I'm sure she's going to be great. But it's sad to me that Ashley does not get to do a live action version of Ahsoka Tano, just because she has originated the character and she's been with Ahsoka for so long.
Yeah.
And been through so much with Ahsoka, and has a dedication to the character that a lot of people don't get to have. And you can see in everything she does, every Star Wars convention she goes to, she is very proudly representing Ahsoka Tano. And so for that side of me, I just really wish that Ashley got to do it, you know?
Very much so. And really, I feel like she's one of those people who's taken the platform a character has given her and really done a lot of good with it, in a way that you really don't see very often. And she's taken that, and really it's just a testament to who Ashley is, where she just makes things happen. She empowers people, and she makes the world a better place.
Yep, I agree completely.
Cameron, what do you think about this casting decision?
I dissent with your opinion.
Well, I haven't given my opinion. I'm just agreeing that Ashley does awesome things.
I dissent with Katie's opinion. The reason being is that even though I have a great respect for the voice acting that has been done and a great respect for the person that's representing the character, I don't believe she would have been able to pull off a live action outside of CG in that way, just because of the way the character has been developed. And more importantly, the heart of the character is with Filoni. Filoni is the one who really has brought up the character through the ranks as far as guiding through writing and directing skill. So being able to have him in the directorial seat for the character with his personal choice for the character.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I completely agree with you, Cameron. It's different to have your face and emotions shown than just your voice. And I think Ashley could do it at some level. But you do have to wonder the level of depth that would come with that, because it's just a different ballpark.
Mhm.
And I think in some ways, Ashley is better than Ashley is live action Ahsoka Tano. And that's because I think the animated version of Ahsoka Tano is able to bring out that Ashliness, for lack of a better term.
Okay.
And my concern is that there would be too much Ashley and Ahsoka Tano if it was live action too. And people would go, oh, Ashley was really great as Ahsoka Tano, as opposed to that's Ahsoka Tano, and not be focused on who the actress or actor is.
And I don't feel like this is going to change who Ahsoka Tano is to fans, if that makes any sense.
I think you're right.
And to speak into that in general, speak in generals, who is the best Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Who is the best character actor who has portrayed Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Alec Guinness?
Sir Alec Guinness.
Alec Guinness?
You know, I would disagree. Think about this. Who is the only person who has played Obi-Wan in a way that is across the spectrum from young to old, showing progression?
Who?
That would be the voice actor that plays Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Which one, though?
His name?
Stephen Stanton?
No.
The gentleman you spoke to.
Stephen Stanton I have spoken to, but he is not the voice actor of Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Clone Wars.
Well, any biscuits. What I'm saying is the originator of the character, in this case, Sir Alec Guinness, did the least amount for the character despite basing him. I would argue that Obi-Wan Kenobi, while being completely based on Sir Alec Guinness's portrayal, is much more beloved because of everything that's happened after him.
Do you think James Arnold Taylor or something, who's the voice in Clone Wars?
Yeah, most likely.
More than Ewan McGregor?
Yeah. Well, Ewan McGregor is a perfect example as well. That's not the originator, is all I'm saying. That you have all these other people who have taken up the mantle of a beloved character and have done a lot more for it than the originator did. That's not to say Ashley didn't do a lot for this character. I'm just saying there's a lot of opportunity for growth, especially considering that by timelines, this must be a much older Ahsoka.
That's absolutely true. And to agree and disagree with you, I think the originator of the character sets the foundation for what the character can grow into. And if you don't have that strong foundation, then really what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for Cameron's reaction.
No, that's right.
Okay. You're welcome for pressing Cameron on his statements.
If you don't, it's no fun.
That is true, and that's why we have fun chatting with each other, because you never really know where they're going to go. So we've got Ahsoka Tano coming into The Mandalorian Season 2, and if you haven't seen The Mandalorian Season 1, you probably don't want to be watching this, because I think we should talk a little bit about this, and it might end up with some spoilers. In fact, there's going to be spoilers from Season 1 from here on out. So turn it off if you don't want to know. We've got the Darksaber, and for those of you who have or haven't seen Star Wars Rebels, this plays a big role, I guess you could say, in a season that's very much about Sabine Wren and the Mandalorian way. And I don't know how that's going to connect, but it does make me think that Sabine Wren is going to be connected to The Mandalorian, as well as Ahsoka Tano in Season 2 of The Mandalorian. What do you guys think about the connection potentially between Mandalorian, Star Wars Rebels, and the characters that appear to be coming up in both.
I've never watched Star Wars Rebels, and I'm working on watching Clone Wars right now.
Yeah, just keep going all the way through, binge it through. We're all in quarantine, which is why we're on bad technology. And,
yeah. Well, and I just found out that I don't have to work for 2 weeks, so I literally have no excuse.
So really, you can get the whole thing there.
Yeah, I could probably do it. I'll live tweet it. It'll be great.
I mean, I've powered through 3 seasons of TNG in the last week, so.
Dang it, that's what I need to do too. I have so many things to watch.
That is also true. Cameron, have you gotten to watch Star Wars Rebels yet?
A bit, not a ton up until this point,
okay,
but
so
enough to understand the lore connections, what we're referring.
So what we're going to need to do is before The Mandalorian Season 2 comes out, I'm going to need you both to watch all of Clone Wars, all of Rebels, so we can do a deep dive, especially you, Cameron, because I think you're going to understand some of the storytelling devices that are connected with other things in the storytelling world at large, just because you're a writer and you're into those things. And Katie, you're just going to love all the connections.
I'm just going to go, wow, space things.
No,
so is this, I'm just going to put this on my normal hourly time card, or is this going to be my salary rate for watching these? Or?
Yeah, all the above.
I am very excited to watch Rebels because I'm super excited for Sabine Wren, because Sabine Wren is voiced by Tia Sircar, who is Vicky in The Good Place. And The Good Place is one of my favorite shows of all time. So I'm super excited for it.
So you're going to love everything. See, it's all
good.
It will be fun to see. So there's the last episode of Star Wars Rebels, I think, is really hopefully going to get some answers to it in The Mandalorian. Or something that comes out of The Mandalorian. So for me personally, having watched all of these TV shows or episodes, there's questions that came out of the end of Rebels that I'm hoping are answered. And I'm really curious to see how they continue the story. You have any other thoughts, Cameron?
Many, but not at the moment.
Okay.
I'm very excited that they're choosing to do a crossover like this. I feel like even 5 years ago, they would not have risked doing something that was so. I'm niche isn't the right word, because there's a lot of people that have enjoyed and watched these other Star Wars products, but it's certainly not mainstream in the way that would have been considered safe even a couple of years ago.
True.
So for them to be able to take a risk and choose narrative arc over necessarily profitability, I think it's demonstrating that it is profitable and that it's worthwhile to be able to explore things on a deeper level. So
do you think that's one of the benefits of something like Disney Plus?
Yeah, they're able to take a lot more risk and not have to worry so much about the reward. If people love it, they're going to talk about it and they're going to get virality in that way. If people don't love it, the overhead cost on putting something on a streaming service like that is negligible compared to what it would cost to actually put something into mass production. So yeah, it's a win-win for them.
And with pretty much all of the theaters closed right now, how do you think that is going to change how media is consumed moving forward?
I think that's a bit of a coin toss. That's going to be, I mean, that's really what's going to play out. We're seeing Universal take steps in that direction with the announcement about Onward. Was that today? Goodness,
that was this morning.
That was this morning.
Digital download.
It's clear they're trying things, and if it works, it's going to fundamentally change how we consume media. If it doesn't work, I see us going back to a system very similar to what we had before at the end of a couple.
Yeah. The big question mark for me is it's $20 for a digital download of Onward on iTunes or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you could have 5-10 people in the room, probably not 10, but 4 to 6 people in the room watching this. And
at 6 feet apart.
Yes. Absolutely. But my big question is, it costs what, $120 million to make a movie like this? I could be completely off, but I think it's in that ballpark.
You could name literally any number, and I'd be like, "Yeah, that's how much it costs to make a movie."
I don't want to look unintelligent. That's right. Yes. Yes, and
It costs $42. No,
It costs at least $7 to make a movie these days.
There you
She's
go.
not wrong, you know.
But anyway,
This was filmed on an iPhone.
it costs millions and millions of dollars to make a movie, and
Yes.
there's a certain level of return they have to get from going through first the movie theaters and then home release to make sure they make a return.
And then
on that.
merchandising.
Yeah, and merchandising to make that return on the investment. And I really am curious, if you take the movie theater out of that algorithm, what does the return look like? And is it even possible to get that at this point? And I feel like that's what we're going to find out in the coming weeks and months.
And a lot of the base for that model, at least from what I understand, is the cinema benefit is all about the noise it creates, specifically around award season, because it allows you a double bump. So the pattern right now is goes to cinema, opening weekend is paramount, how well it actually sells, at least domestically for its audience. That domestic is what influences overseas purchase, and that's a complete variability. There are certain films which have done immensely well overseas that do terribly here, and they're still considered great successes.
Yeah.
For example, if you ever wonder why they keep making Transformers films the way they do,
Oh, I know.
it's because they are hand over fist making money overseas.
That's true.
And quite a bit here too, but that's not the point. But the real logic of it is that there's accolade that comes from putting a film in theaters, and that's the only thing that separates it from being just as profitable and selling in other markets. So by eliminating the possibility of accolades achievement in the form of Academy Awards or film reviews, that's a big part of it. Reviews only go to what's actually in theaters, not what is being streamed.
Yeah.
Though that is changing with the growing market of digital influence being more prevalent than, say, Ebert and Roper or Siskel and Ebert or whatever other combination you'd like. As those decline, you're going to see much more profitability in other aspects other than actual theatrical earnings.
Yeah, and it's going to be a game changer. I feel like it's when we come out of this, people are going to really have to ask the question: is it worth going through the traditional path for movies, or is it better to just put it on iTunes? And it'll be really interesting to see 6 months or a year from now what that process is, because it could be completely different than what we're looking at today.
I don't know that people will stop going to movie theaters though. Because
right.
What's the fun of seeing a movie if you don't accidentally walk into the end of Spider-Man Homecoming? You know? No, but seriously, the entire movie watching experience is completely different than anything you can have at home. And I think that even though the entire time you've been on this, the entire time I'm in a movie theater, I am thinking, I wish I was at home right now, because I hate movie theaters with every fiber of my being, but I still see movies in theaters because it is a different experience than watching it at home. There's so many movies that I'm so glad I watched in a theater for the first time rather than at home.
Cameron, do you agree with that?
I do. There's still the mystique of old Hollywood associated with seeing a film on a big screen. To that point, I think we might see more of a boutique theatrical movement moving up. I mean, we've already seen in the last few years that you see AMC doing the reclining seats and the dine-in delivery thing. And they're nice. And I think if we see a more extreme version of that, a couple of years from now, we might be living in a world where a movie gets a weekend premiere release where you go to the theaters for it, and then immediately following that is when it's on its home release, on the heels of it. So you're paying for the experience of going, might cost a bit more, but then it feeds right into that.
So hold on, I have a great idea. You guys need to hear me out.
We're hearing you out.
I think we're going to see a model where you can stay in your car and watch a movie. Now, hear me out. I know it's crazy.
Crazy.
I'm thinking we call them drive-ups? No. Drive-ins? I'm just saying it could take off.
Here, if I could just tag onto that, if I could just stack onto that comment right there, if I could just build, I just want to attach on.
Just riff. Let's go.
Just add a trailer on top of that. How about we have snacks available, but to market them, we anthropomorphize the snacks and have them sing a song about them being eaten.
Hold on. Do you think they should dance?
Yeah, if possible, in synchronous walking across the screen.
Okay, all right.
I don't think the audience would assume the abject horror of them advertising their deliciousness.
Okay. Yeah,
Because
that
they'd
I
all
was gonna
be
say I
going
could
to
see
the
how that could be
movies.
traumatizing, especially for young families. But yeah, no, I like that. I like that. We'll build off that.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I think we are running out of time, but we hope you've enjoyed this DAPS Magic Live, a little bit about Star Wars, and we will be doing another one very soon. Please let us know in the comments what you would like to hear us chat about, and we never know who's going to be on these things, so that's what makes it a little bit fun. But we hope that you are having a fantastic night. Let me switch to gallery view and see if
Switch, Nintendo Switch,
or that. There we go.
Animal Crossing.
Now you can see all three of us. And we are going to say goodnight for this time around. And we look forward to geeking out with you again on DAPS Magic Live. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. And we will see you again soon.
Bye.